by Sean. It was to host this, and he did it in a really wonderful way. He just came in and said, "Yeah, we're thinking about renting out Joe Matthias," and then he was just really silent for about. So I'm like, hey. But now that I see the size of the crowd, I'm actually doing second thoughts. Paul was such a beloved human being, and I'm just kind of, because it's my space, I'm going to say a bit of a piece right now about this man, because we do a lot of, we run a business, and obviously we're in business, but we do a lot of social justice work out of this studio. So whether it's cultural revitalization or, health and wellness, food security, and we've got an eye out. We always keep an eye out for people that are like-minded, beautiful people that are like-minded. When that man rolled into our studio 13 years ago, he brought this waft of energy with him, and we were immediately friends. And you're going to hear a lot today, I guarantee you, about, the beautiful soul this person was. If you look at that drum in the corner right by the mirror, I mean, obviously we know about all the work he did with animals and, environment and stuff like that. But as a friend, he just popped in on an idle Tuesday afternoon. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I was driving across the country and, and I saw this big drum and I thought of you." And he just dropped it off and left. And I still haven't painted on it yet. And I've got a lot of ideas now what I want to do as a tribute to him. And I think I'm going to paint something on it and we'll auction it off and give it to one of his charities, many charities that he worked on. In any event, without too much further ado, just some housekeeping. That's the only exit, so that's the one he came in. I don't know what the fire code is here for that, but please be respectful if somebody breaks out and don't trample each other. The magnanimous Sean is going to go run for the overhead door and lift the chain up so everybody else can get out of this car. So, anyways, just be knowledgeable about that. If you're going to smoke, just depending on if it is raining and stuff, just so people don't have to go in the gauntlet, there's sort of a smoke shed out to the right. I'll leave it up to your own discretion. I know that we all have our means to internally smudge. I do myself sometimes. But in any event, I think that's it. You know where the washrooms are, and obviously the food. So without any further ado, again, welcome to Spiritworks Studio. And I'm going to hand it over to Kevin Boothroyd. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Shane. Those are great words. My name is Kevin Boothroyd, and I'm a longtime friend of Sean and Paul, who I met many years ago. And we immediately, as Shane said, just instantly became brothers and friends and have been to this day. We're here today on the traditional and unceded lands territory of the Tsleil-Waututh, Musqueam, and Squamish Nation, and we're happy to have been invited to be here today to hold this ceremony to celebrate and honor the life of a very beloved friend and family member, Paul Biglin. I'm going to say some words a little later, but I want to get us started on this agenda. And so here today I want to welcome a hereditary chief, a very well-known First Nations person, Gibby, to come and Gibby Jacob to come and say some good words to get us started on a good way.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. When you get older, life becomes shorter. Every day is a good day. Long as the engine starts in the morning, I'm happy. So I don't know many of you here. I do know a few, and it's good to see some friends that I've known for an awful long time, haven't seen in maybe 20 years. And it's good to see you and share a bit of time together. My ancestral name is Cockleton. I am one of the hereditary chiefs of the Squamish Nation. I served my people for 40 years, both as elected leader and an employee. Shane's shop here he's been our tenant for how many years now, Shane? Where'd you go? Bathroom? Anyways, he's been a tenant here for quite a number of years, and a very good tenant. He pays his rent every month. So we like him. But to the family here, I just want to express my condolences to you. Having gone through this a number of times, it seems the older I get, the more people start passing away, the elders in our community. I understand that feeling of the shaking inside your body. That's something we'll all go through. Doesn't matter who we are, doesn't matter how rich or poor, what color you are. So, just condolences to you, and Sean, condolences to you as well. And all the friends, I'm imagining you're all friends because you wouldn't be here if you weren't. So, I just wanted to share a song and ask you to rise and pray for all of those things in your heart that you're carrying. You know, there must be people who are going through tough medical times right now, or mental issues that they're trying to take care of. My cousin Linda, my late mom's great grandniece, I think. So just wanted to share a song. It's my late grandfather's Siowan song, and it was retired a long time ago. I just wanted to explain, I have to go in a while. Another friend of mine has passed away over a couple of weeks ago. My late great friend Gino Ojic. They're having an event for him in Musqueam later this afternoon. And I'll be one of, I think, 3 representatives from our nation going over there. Hopefully they have some family there. But again, to the family and friends, wishing you well and be safe and healthy. Would you?
Thank you, Gibby, for those words that got us started in a good way in your song. At this time, I want to bring up Squamish Minister Jean Harry for a prayer and ceremony.
Luid Stayat Namak Collect. I say Jewett, the tonight following all the chin is the big one. Nasum is Hawkwatch. Yasu Yiteta Weston, the Mukwet, Kutsty, Stowny Set, the least at the Nakwell, Longstuff with these days, Kusti Hanamatish Hanamas. Wankum Slachen, Kunstni Zeb, be Almatson. It's sauce at the Nakwell. It's Lilla Matel, it's a wattle, you stays Kusti Emishes, Aixally. Say what squid. Satan Swain, Scottsten, Sasui Thingta. First, I'm going to say thank you for being here, taking care of Spirit. Spirit we're taking care of is the power of love today. And that's why all of you are sitting here taking care of that, returning that love back. Having a strong prayer, asking the light, asking the smoke to carry our love to that good place, promised place. He's here. He had enough strength to gather all of us here today to nurture. We all saw something great. We all heard something great. Now he gathered all of you here, all of us here together to make sure that continues on moving forward. Moving forward. A special prayer. Great Chief said that song that brought it to our minds here belongs to you. You hear it, you use it to fix your emotion. Today, we believe in that higher power. Any way you pray, any denomination you use for prayer, we all pray to that one helper. You need everything. Any way you pray, we want our beloved brothers, the Spirit, to move forward. We want our beloved brothers to be uplifted. A lot of times we always say, we hang on too tight. We're hanging on too tight. You have a hard time moving forward. Today, I'm going to ask you to have your hands open. Your hands open, you're not going to be holding on to it, so you are ready to move forward. Special blessing. Word in the air is love. Also following that is to help one another. Anybody did anything wrong, forgive one another. Brothers and sisters, I have a message from the Lord. Brothers and sisters, I have a message from God. To love one another. To love one another. Brothers and sisters, I have a message from the Lord. Brothers and sisters, I have the same message from all. To help one another. To help one another. Brothers and sisters, I have a message from the Lord. Brothers and sisters, I have the same message from all. To forgive and others. Finals and blessings. Stand with your hands with gratitude emotions. Gratitude emotions will be to forward. Have your hands open. Oh, 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 yeah, oh, yeah, oh, 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 oh. You may be seated. I want to thank each and every one of you for helping out. Now he belongs to the sky people. He no longer belongs to us. He belongs to the people up there. You know, I always say they needed him up there to take care of spirit also. Now that he showed you what to do, how to do, now it's up to this well-being to act upon. Each and every one of you have something special in your mind and your heart that he gave it to you. Now utilize it and take care of it. And a special blessing to the ones that are really, really hurting. Because a lot of times we have that pain in your heart. Now remove that pain and put the loved one in your heart and act upon all the good things he saw. There's many, many, many griefs I went through. There's only a few more. And I've reached the end of grief. I got to see the grandparents, the great-grandparents, the parents, sisters. I never had a brother, so I won't be able to taste the grief of a brother. I lost a son. I still got my daughter, still got my wife, still got a grandson. There's 3 more griefs we're going to go through. And every time we grieve together, we heal together. And we honor and respect him. Now he belongs to the sky. He no longer belongs to this world, but his work is going to be continued through each and every one of you. Thank you for inviting us, calming our spirit, and sharing your Papa's song. That is our first prayer. So thank you very much, my dear friends and relatives. Turn the floor over back to our beautiful, handsome caretaker. Oh, see ya.
We'll end the caretaker.
Whoa.
Thank you for that incredible prayer and words, Gene. That was exactly what we needed to hear today. I'm going to move this forward again. I'm going to bring up Bill Ellen, who is from the Tsimshian Nation, and Bill is going to give us some Eagle and Raven song, I believe. Please.
Nalawandi. Relaxing view at New, Tsimshian New. Pay my deepest gratitude and my love and friendship vibrations go out to the ancestors, the Squamish Nation, all the elders, matriarchs, hereditary chiefs, members of the wonderful tribe that has accepted me and hoisted my canoe into a wonderful journey during the Olympics, and I shall forever be resonating that kind of love and connection to such wonderful people with tribal acceptance, joining all our ancestors together. I come here in representation of, first and foremost, my my ancestors, my granny. My granny, she set me on this journey and has guided me through in her vibrations and her messaging. And now I come in open-heartedly bringing the spirit of my father. I wear my father high masses, raven blanket, and the story of our ancestors in our Chilkat story writings and language. These are days that are never easy when you love somebody so much. And to be brought into the friendship of such a beautiful soul, I open my connection of love and friendship through Brother Sean, Medich, Grizz, and we called our dear friend Paul Moki. Moki was short for Mokskum Ol. Mokskum Ol is our spirit bear from our territory of the Chimshan. So we ceremonially gifted Paul with the name of Moki because it seemed to be more suitable to his character and his spirit. Paul was a beautiful man in so many ways, but through this song that I'm going to share with you, that was gifted to me and taught to me by Robert Davidson of the Haida Gwaii Nation. I just about pulled him in there with us. Haida Gwaii Nation. He taught me this song over 18 years ago, and the song is about unity and friendship through the feathers of the raven and the eagle. Deutsches Zeugin, Kaga, Deutsches Oi. Deutsche. I'm trying to Chief Gibbons moves here. Love you, Chief. did you get to? Oh, yes, of course. And a blessing on our dear chief's journey as he goes to connect with a wonderful, wonderful, vibrational man who gave us many years of wonderful sports and support in our communities for the young people and the elders. Another great, wonderful, beautiful spirit dancing with our brother Paul at this time. And we rejoice with them in their journey. Switch and Gino. Niswan. Paul was an amazing human being who seemed to adapt into any environment. When he came up north, well, he didn't come up north, he drove up in the Spirit Bear Jeep. And of course, the highlights were always the special moments of pulling over for a cup of Java. And we always acknowledged our ancestors and the Spirit Bears. And we just had many treasures of time. And I think most of you, if not all of you, can reflect on how beautiful Paul was about telling stories. Because within the drum circle that Paul and I designed for the coffee company, Spirit Bear Coffee, it was all about the drum circle. It wasn't about him, it wasn't about the coffee company, but it was in support of what we believed in for the Spirit Bears. And the fact that they are still an endangered species. But we like to believe that everybody who supported our venture, our wonderful venture that we started how many years ago? 16 years ago. They tried our smoked salmon and I tried their coffee and became an addict. But reflecting on Paul's spirit and him coming up to our Tsimshian Nation, he was so respectful to all the elders, matriarchs, tribal members. They always wanted to do things right. Him and Sean came to me with open hearts to have me help brand their company as the Spirit Bear Mokskum Oil Coffee Company. And so it wasn't my idea, but they did choose that they wanted to be connected to our nation as deeply as possible. And because the bear has a very special meaning to us in all our stories, and so we like to always respect all of our creatures as endangered species, because let's face it, there's no creature that develops and covers the earth in their own presence than us human beings. So acknowledge all those that are in respect of our Hodzak, Mother Earth, and in respect of our Creator. This is a song that reflects Paul's spirit. It's the song of the Spirit Bear. I'm going to sing the first part of it, reaching out to the sound of the rattle. My ancestors danced with the sound of the rattle, and they connect with everybody's spirit through the sound of the rattle. Paul to connect with us, and we want to send him off in the song in our brotherhood of love and friendship. Amokshisham Shuma Amokshisham Krani Kikya Please clap with us. Niagara without your most control. No key, a mochi sham like a god. Mochi sham, a mochi sham, a mochi sham. Ancestors await you with open arms. We look forward to joining you once again in your vibrations, future journeys, as you rise up to connect with the ancestors in a higher echelon of the heavens. I'm going to stop after I say the last word. As we said, Paul Biglin, to connect with our ancestors. We thank you for the wonderful brief time we had in this eternal journey with our dear brother Moki, your brother Paul. Send our love and our prayers out to his family, his brother and his family. And just expressing our gratitude for giving us the presence of such a dear brother for the time that we had, and we've always treasured and abide with him as we travel through the world, sharing a cup of coffee and brotherhood with him. Thank you so much for joining in this vibrational practice of our traditions. I acknowledge all of your ancestors and where you came from, and that we've all connected through one brother, two brothers, and others that have been strong in this representation of a tribal drum family. Because in the challenging times that we are in, it's not the first time we've been faced with challenges in our world. Our world goes through transformations. The Thunderbird comes, and the Thunderbird replenishes. We are in a time of preparation for this replenishment. Ward off all fear. Keep your heart beating loud. You got a drum, take it off the wall or wherever it's getting done. Keep vibing, keep it together. We have to stay strong. We must stay strong. Not only in our traditional vibrations, but in the hearts of love that we share continually in this beautiful world that we've been blessed with. Deutsch.
Thank you, Bill. That was great words to add to what has already been said. And I know that one of the words that's been used repeatedly since this started is the word love, and I think that's what brings us all here together as one God. I'd like to move this along and bring up YB Nakota. YB, you're going to also going to give us a song.
Aboastino, Dukinyo. I go by YB is Yellow Bear. It's my spirit name. I say in my language is Wahanthie D. We are the Nakota Nation from Treaty 6 territory, the farthest Nakota Sioux speaking people that came northwest in so-called Canada. And I am honored to be here, Paul. The invite to come do a prayer song and an honor song for Paul. I did not know him, but he sounds like an amazing guy. And I just got back from Alberta last night, and from a memorial for my dad. My uncle. Yeah, it's just overwhelming right now too for me. But getting over the grief of my uncle, and yeah, just do the best I can at the moment. And if you guys could please lift your hands for me. We're gonna do a Lakota prayer song for my people, my Sioux people. Bashin waka Oshe mana laha abene Ashlish pilama. Now just getting over this little call that that was pretty hard to push it out. I'm gonna do last one is gonna be an honor memorial song. We sing this back home to honor our loved ones and just celebrate their life because their body is no longer in pain here on the physical earth, and give it back to you. Now Mako Che, Mother Earth. So that's what we give it back to, and our soul goes back to Wakan Kaunka. Taking that journey home, he's there with all his family, the Creator, in a beautiful place, looking down and to say that prayer to him now. Be honored to just honored to have him in you guys' prayers. That's all I feel with us. Okay. You guys can rise to this one. You can rise. Thank you. OCM.
Thank you for that, YB. Really could feel the spirit of the bear in your song. I'm going to now bring up the Crazy Indians Brotherhood. I know that they are coming to also drum for us in honor of Paul Biglin. So gentlemen, if you can move your way to the front.
OCM, my dear people, just wanted to say a few words before we share a song for our brother here. I didn't get to meet this man before he received his patch, but because he was part of the Crazy Indian Brotherhood, I felt that I should travel here to be with the family today, to honor him. You know, my grandfather used to always say, you know, he's never gone. He didn't leave this world. He didn't leave you. He lost the human part of himself, but his spirit will always live. Spirit always lives forever. He just took another step in life. He's with the ancestors. With his family on the other side, they were waiting for him to greet him. He doesn't feel pain on that side. We feel pain because we're here. Our human feels the pain. He doesn't feel that. He's happy. He's smiling. I just wanted to share those few words. That's all. The reason why I wanted to share those words is because it helps to ease my pain when I lose somebody. One of my teachers, Uncle Gene, used to spend a lot of time with us up in the valley. We lost a lot of family members. And he taught me a lot of this stuff. And listened. I remember when my brother Chris's dad passed away, Gene was the one that painted his face and sent him off with spirit. So we just want to share a song or two, and after I share a song, maybe my brother from the Michigan Nation might want to share some words of the song afterwards.
I believe those words were written by Paul.
Oh, hero, oh. Ungigat, Sigadam Hana, Gubble Wilsit, Gant Ta Nits Gubat Gish, Shane Watts, Gumsi Wamak, Il Lixup Laux Gak, Wamniska. Ladies, gentlemen, chiefs, matriarchs, how I introduce myself is from the Somaliak speaking people of the Nisga'a Nation. I'm very honored to be here today, standing with our brothers, uniting as one. I never had the chance or the opportunity to meet this beautiful man, but I work with our brother, Paul Biglin. He's our vice president. And from the stories that he has shared is very uplifting. The heart that this man had was a heart of gold. It is very suiting that he joined us and he walked with us in this journey, in this realm. And like our speakers have said before, that his physical body isn't here, but his spirit is within each and every single one of you. And for the family, the same blood that went through his veins is the same ones that flows through yours. Continue uplifting each other, being there for one another, because that's exactly what this world needs, is more kind, loving people like our brother Paul here. I wanted to share a song that comes from our nation. It is called the Nisga'a Peace Song. The song was composed in 7 different languages to create peace with 7 different nations, Coast Salish being one of them. At one point we went to war. We fought against each other. And we came up with this song to create peace so we can walk together as warriors. Yen wo tani skot tanasi aya. Yen wo tani skot tanasi iyaho. Yen wo tani skot tanasi aya. Yen wo tani skot tanasi iyaho. behalf of Crazy Indians Brotherhood, we send our deepest condolences. We come up here to share our love, to share our strength, and to show our support to the friends and family of Paul Biglin. Doyak Sit Need, OCM. Thank you.
Thank you for that, gentlemen. I'm sure Paul heard that. I understand that Tamara Daughter is going to come up and do a song as well. Tamara, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Stay with me, speaking just because I have a sound technical. Hello, everybody. My name is Tamara Daughter. I come from the north, Peace River, from the Soto First Nation. And Soto Denisa and Cree. My mother is Dr. Bonnie Napoleon, my father, Mama Joshua, my grandmother, Mama Davis. I just wanted to share a song today. But I will quickly just speak to the impact that this beautiful man had upon all of our lives. And it honors me to see you here singing, so I wanted to make sure to share a song from our territory as well. Paul made everybody feel like family. And every time I sat with him, I wanted to stay sitting with him forever. So I want to speak about the expression from Creator that he was. It really struck me last year when my brother passed, how we should never really lose touch with our own spirit, because if you didn't have it, you would not animate at all, or in fact, just the earth. Enlightened and enlightened by our Creator, by infinite intelligence. And Paul is a very, very beautiful expression, and I feel honored to have experienced and witnessed that expression. And what my brother Jimmy said earlier, he brought many teachings to us, and it's now our responsibility to take those teachings into ourselves. He was so strong in bringing us forward. And it does take a lot of work to be forgiving and so open-hearted as he was, and oftentimes just completely selfless. And now those teachings are ours, and he's gone to help in another realm, in another dimension, in another world, his own home. So please allow me to share this song. This is Dream Song, and what the song is about is to forget oneself and surrender. When the times are really tough and you feel like you can break, and all you can do is surrender to the Creator. Thank you.
said hi. So we're going to move now to some personal tributes. I'm going to call up Paul's brother John, nephews Jason and Chris,
Hey everybody, thanks for coming today. I don't want Can everybody hear me okay? You guys hear me in the back? I promised myself I wouldn't cry, so that's my goal. I didn't write anything down because by the time I started to cry. So I'm choosing not to read anything that I wrote. But thank you guys all very much for coming. It's fantastic to see how many people got to know and see see my uncle for who he was, for somebody that I got to grow up with, and you guys got to be a part of his life. One of the things when I was fairly young, my uncle used to say was that music is the heart to the soul, or key to the soul, sorry. And it's pretty cool getting to see everything today, the drumming ceremonies and prayers coming. It really brings us all together. And all right, sorry guys. Okay. So seeing all the drumming and I don't know what I'm doing. That's why I don't want this. Can anybody hear me now? You guys hear me now? I'll just shout louder. Shout louder. Now it's working? It's working out. There we go. Thank you. I don't even know where I was anymore. I would pass it off to my brother. I just thank you everybody very much for coming. It means a lot to see everybody here. Sean, thank you very much for showing us so many other things that we haven't got to see over the years. Being brought out, or coming out to say goodbye to Paul. And that was pretty cool. Last thing I'll say is my uncle's favorite thing was we almost talked every day. We talked in the morning on my way to work. It's kind of his thing, my thing. But we never said goodbye. Goodbyes are forever. As always, see you later. Talk soon. Love you. So it's on you.
Again, kind of repeating what my son Chris said. I've got to know another side of my brother that I was pretty unaware of. Kind of drifted apart over the years, and I'm paying the price now. I'm so sorry for it. But in turn, I've seen another side of him that has brought all you guys to this light, and I thank all of you and his brother Sean, who the last few years has been, well, a better brother than I was. But as he would say, shit happens, and I can only get better, and we'll get better because of seeing you people here, and all this stuff.
You can't see you people.
Can't see you people?
No, that's it.
I thought you can't say shit anymore without saying stop. Okay, to everybody that's here, and even the ones that aren't, that I know can hear us, thank you. Thanks for letting us have this spot, and thanks for teaching me us old guys can always learn something. Thank you.
Now I'm gonna turn into a puddle. Oh yeah.
Thanks again, everyone, for coming out. I wrote a little spiel here, just kind of a few things I was writing down. So, from everyone that already knows Paul, we always called him Bubba. He's never known as Paul, Uncle Paul, it's always Bubba. Paul, Bubba, I have respected you for your travels you made. The only thing that always comes to mind when I've been down or upset is you've always told me, create what you deserve. And I see that today, looking at every single individual person here. He's created family, friends, co-workers, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, everything. Today, I am lucky to celebrate your life as a kick-ass uncle, an awesome brother, an anchor of a brother-in-law, and a stellar business partner that has made us all family and became us whole. I sit at the table this morning, drinking coffee, remembering the good times. Playing Lego in the basement on weekends or after school. Tea and cookies with Nanny and Papa, Barney and Blackie, Kirby, Daisy. The smile that would generate from your face just seeing your dogs walk into the room could never take that away. Getting picked up in your van, watching TV was the best part of my life. And afterwards, we go to the driving range. For everyone that didn't know, yes, Paul did golf. After that, we go to Dairy Queen for blizzards. Smarty was his favorite. Over the years, times have passed. We've gotten older, and I can see the success and happiness you made for yourself. Trips on the bike with the boys, road trips you and I would make and take together. You gave your heart and soul to your dogs, your friends, your family. You've always worried about us, but we've worried more about you. Was always glad to get my bear hugs. So there's a few words that Paul wrote when his dad passed away, and I would like to share with you guys. Although it has been a little while since I've seen your touch, his lasting was humor. His sharing gift lives on in memory of others, and his name brings laughter from my heart. Bubba, this is not goodbye, but until we cross paths again in another time. I love you so much. Proud of everything you've become, and grateful to have you as my uncle. Bubba, I love you.
We're now going to hear a few words from Paul's dear friend, longtime friend. I know you guys grew up across the street from each other, so I'll leave this to Sean Harden to give us some words.
Good morning, good afternoon. Don't know what time it is now. First want to acknowledge Shane for just allowing us this beautiful place here. It's just such a great energy, and Chief Gibby for opening the ceremony, Chief Harry, this service was beautiful. Lee, my partner, he's the spirit there, and our girl Raven. YB, I just met you one time ago, you took me home. Paul grew up in Alberta, he took us home, bro. So incredible. Crazy Indians, brotherhood, my brothers now, man. This is really tough. You know, Kevin, thank you for emceeing. Going back 16 years ago, if you ever see the TV show Tool Time and Mr. Wilson. It's actually Mr. Biglin. And he was one of my colleagues' neighbors. And sure enough, it was late night and he came over with this, who's that over there? And we were able to share a cigar that night together, and we were inseparable. His knowledge of business, my knowledge of coffee, we were able to come together and go on a journey that took us to the West Coast to meet Bill. He said that we came with coffee, and he had bannock and smoked salmon for us, and the journey began. So many meetings and so many miles traveled across this great nation together, endless bike trips. We shared so many great moments. Let me say that his dialogue, his dogs, his bears, his bikes. So you have to. And his coffee. And I just want to thank every one of you that came out today. It means so much to myself, the family. He's such loving all of the stuff. His heart is so big, and he'll be so missed. I'm glad he touched every one of you here. Bless him.
Let's go. So we mentioned earlier that there is a whiteboard over here to your left. If you want to speak, tell the story about Paul, please put your name down. Don't be afraid. We'll bring the mic out to you. You don't have to come up. So I'll give a couple of minutes for that. For those who want to, please do. But as I'm holding the mic, I'm going to start with saying a few words. So I met Paul and Sean are inseparable, joined at the hip. And I met him with a then work colleague, Sean Werbold, and Sean, I think, was sitting back there at an Aboriginal business match in, I want to say, Sean, it was Prince George, right? Yeah. And both Sean and I were immediately drawn. There was all these trade show booths. And then there was the Spirit Coffee guys, and it was Sean and Paul. We met them and immediately became fast friends. And continued that relationship. They would come out to golf tournaments that Sean and I were involved in. And always were ready there. We were raising money for local charity. And they would always show up. The whole kit and caboodle, the wagon, the coffee makers, and they are, and I'm sure always will be a significant part of those kind of events. But my relationship with both Sean and Paul transcended that, and even to my move now with the First Nations Health Authority, where I do good work there, I hope. I've stayed in touch, and over the years I got to know Paul, and Paul is just an incredible person. You know, he's got the most calmest disposition. You know, I've always thought that if Paul walked into a hurricane would slow down. And Paul had this incredible ability to bring the temperature down so that people could really reflect and think. That he was emotional and feeling, much like his best friend Sean, is clear to everybody, and that's what touches us, right? That's what he's about. I like to say that we all know that Paul was a large man, but he had even a larger heart. And I can only say, from my perspective, that there's a Paul Biglin-sized hole in the universe that can only be filled by no other than Paul. I just wanted to end really by saying that he has become and always will be a part of my life. I visited him several times while he was in hospital. To give you an idea of what Paul's about, I remember sitting there and he had a smudged kid on the table beside him with a drum, and was talking about how important embracing that culture, that spirituality was for him in that time, and it was helping him through. But he began to talk about friends and the support he had. And I remember he started reading out a list that Sean and his girlfriend had provided him, and all the food detailed, all the lasagna and all this food they had been cooking and stocking in his fridge. And he broke down and cried. But he wasn't crying for himself. You might think he would. He was crying because he was so grateful for what he was receiving. So I'm going to end just one thing. I'm going to paraphrase something that has been attributed to Einstein. Einstein said something along the lines like, in life, don't choose to be successful, but to be of service. And the one thing I can tell you is that Paul lived that too. Because Paul was always about giving back and serving others, not himself. So really, I just want to say, Paul, I know you hear us. You'll be messing with us for the rest of our lives. It's just been a pleasure to know you and continue to think about you, and I'll always have good thoughts. So, who have we got on the board? We don't have many. Can somebody read the board for me? I can't see it. Sorry? Mayo.
Joshua, do you feel that? I'm honored to be here, but this is culture. This is community. I'm honored to hear other cultures. I want to acknowledge Joshua, Nans Pastanayu, member of the Tla'amin people. Model Ernie Harry, Tono Mary Harry. Grandparents Jimmy G and Elizabeth Lespeth Harry and May and Willa Francis. I want to acknowledge the Squamish people that have invited Paul into their community. Like all of you, I'm amazed at Paul. When he passed, he left a big gap in my heart, and I do have notes, but I think to honor Paul is to do what he did, was just to speak from the heart, because that's who he was as a person. The type of strength that he gives to me at the advanced business match. I see Paul all over the country, but I make my comments on behalf of myself and Ace Harry, my daughter, and my wife, Sue, and on behalf of the Advanced Business Match and Catherine. Paul was a fixture at the Advanced Business Match, much like Sean, my brother. I think the team at Spirit Bear Coffee brought a lot of energy and a lot of values and integrity to these events, and people were drawn to the Spirit Bear team. I want to acknowledge Paul's family, who Paul was as a person. He had many families. I can see that and I can feel that here. I want to thank you for the values and the integrity that he stood for. I could see that, just it's what he gave off just who he was as a person. The strength in him knowing what defined himself, the values, the integrity, the strength, culture. I can't get through this presentation without acknowledging Sean Harding, my brother. You guys were hand in hand, one of the strongest people I've met. You guys were like us. I just wonderful to see the crazy Indian brotherhood here. You might know me through Ace, Harry. You protected her in the downtown east side a couple of months ago. And as a parent, I was freaked out. I was scared because she was there as part of the team looking for somebody in the downtown east side from the Tla'amin Nation. And you guys were there protecting her. And you lifted my heart all the way from Paul River because I wasn't there to protect her, but I just raised my hands to your whole group. Thank you very much. But Sean, Paul's family, I can't imagine the hole that he's left in your hearts. It's at times like this that Paul would want you to be okay. My parents, my kukpas, my chiches, all my culture taught me that it is at times like this that we are our most vulnerable, their health. So Paul would want you to take care of yourselves to get through this. It's an honor to be here celebrating Paul's life, to listen to the amount of people that he impacted. For me as a First Nation person, I get what defines me, my language and my culture. And to look at the colonial history of Canada and the impacts, the horrific impacts of colonization, and is reconciliation possible? When I think about it, my own cynical self, it's not possible. But then again, I meet people like Sean, Paul. If Canada had 9, 10, 15 million more people like you two, reconciliation does have a chance because of what you guys stand for. Paul's gentle and kind soul will be missed. My brother, my colleague, my friend, Amawiga. For those who have traveled, travel safe on your way back. Thank you.
Okay, we have Chance and a little one.
Hi everyone, I'll do my best. Probably break down eventually. My name's Chance. Okay. Uncle Paul, Bubba Man. He helped me as a baby. You got to hold my little one. He was my family, he was my everything. Back in 2016, I got posted. I was in the Navy. I got posted to the West Coast. He was the only family I had with too. Alright. Man had a huge heart. He'd give anyone love that you couldn't even imagine. He'll be with us forever. He'll be a man that'll never be forgotten. Love you, Bubba Man.
Thank you for that. Eric of Lightheart.
I just want to say a few words. Paul was an amazing man. I got to meet Paul 15 years ago at a trade show. And we got a little bit of time to be together. And I traveled with him to Edmonton. And he had a little roaster in Edmonton, and it was a 100-year-old Royal roaster, 25 kg. And I thought to myself, wow, you guys are just working unbelievably. And they were hand packing everything. They were really putting their love and their passion into something that I had never really seen before. And I got to know Paul. Paul was an amazing man that he loved people more than anything. He didn't care about business. He didn't care about money. He didn't care about anything except people. And you've got to put your heart into people in your life because it's the most important thing in life. And Paul knew how to do that. He had the spirit of people. He could build pretty well anything, meet anyone, be with anyone. He was not judgmental. He was pure. And there's not many people in this world that goes through your life and understands that. But I've had many people in my life that touched my soul and made me who I am. I'm in the coffee business, and I've been very lucky to be in the coffee business. But really, who made the difference was people. Not money, not university, not school. You have to love people. And they'll take you anywhere you can go. And if you put a seed, a coffee seed, and you plant it, and you water it, and you nurture it, and you also prune it, you become a little plant. And Paul was like that. He did a lot of things, but he did a lot of things right. He watered, he nurtured, he loved, he gave back. And that's amazing to see in people's lives. And you know something? He wasn't perfect. He was a big man. He had things that, like all of us, we suffer with. But if you stay with people and you believe in the earth, you don't need anything else. You have soil, water, sun. It's those things that make who you are because you can't be anything without them. So Paul really got trimmed. And as he trimmed through his life, he got stronger and stronger and stronger. And I was lucky to see him at Christmas and talk to him because he had no fear. So many people have fear today. What do you fear for? Because they don't know where they're going. But Paul knew where he was going. He knew where he was ending. He didn't cry. All he cared about was others. So I want to give a big just thank you for Paul, who really helped me in my life and gave me a journey, and I really enjoyed that 15-year journey.
Thank you, Eric. John, you are on the board. Where is John?
Hello, everyone. I chose today to beat my fear of public speaking. And why not with my people? Those who don't know me, my name is Jonathan Mathias. I'm an Algonquin from Quebec. There's 9 reserves out there. Our cousin Gino is from Maniwaki. from the Temiskaming First Nation. The funny thing is, about 3 years ago, well, 5 years ago, well, actually, sorry, I was born in Quebec, raised on the island, so I kind of come from BC, if you ask me. I lived there 13 years. I went to Quebec for 20 to live with my family, something my dad chose, and I chose to come back here. It's too cold out there, and when I came back here, I needed a place to hang out, and I went to Spirit Bear because they first visited my gas station in Chase, and after that, well, I had to come and visit them, and my shop's in Burnaby, so what I did is I basically, whenever I was having a bad time, I never told Sean this, but having a bad day, I would go out there and have coffee with the boys. But it was supposed to be maybe a 10-minute coffee, turned into about 2 hours after the show. And yeah, those two guys, the one thing we share in common is probably coffee, happiness, smiles. I don't even think we ever talked business. It wasn't important. It was more about what we did, where we traveled, how much fun we had. All I can say, I was trying to find something positive about cancer, and honestly, I think the positive thing about it is we all get to say our goodbyes. So, I mean, we've all lost people in life too fast, too soon. When I heard Paul was sick, I got to go see him at least one time, and that changed my life. When I was there in the hospital, I asked Paul, what can we do? What can I do to help you? What can I give you? Can I go work for you? Can I do something? Anything. He asked me, can you just keep on smiling? I guess he saw that I had a good smile. So he says, just smile. That's all you gotta do. So I could see what everybody's saying here. He brings people together, and smiles, happiness, hard work. And another thing that's important to know is, cancer's got to be suffering. It's painful. I have spasms in my arm every 8 minutes, and it hurts. And to fight it and forget about it, I just think about business, work hard. And I think Paul is doing the same thing. So we can say maybe he did suffer, but when he was suffering, he put his mind to business, which kind of made Spirit Bear today. So let's just kind of be happy for him. And please honor today. Cancer's awful, but we get to say goodbye. So think about it whenever someone has cancer. Just think about the goodbyes and go say goodbye. It's the best we can do. I don't know if I did good for my public speaking, but anyway, I feel good about it. So, thank you, guys.
Thank you, John. Ben?
Hey everyone. So I've had the pleasure of doing a lot of the photography and videography work for Paul, Sean, Bill, and everyone at Spirit Bear for the last few years, and I thought I would share my experiences with Paul. And I was on a lot of road trips with him, and I got to work with these guys. It was a real pleasure. But when I first, my job is essentially to tell stories and try and tell powerful stories for inspiring people, inspiring companies. And when I was first invited into Spirit Bear, I was invited by Paul, and I thought, I'm going to go, and they said, we're going to put aside a quick client meeting, as I'm used to. And anyone who knows these guys knows that there's no such thing as a quick meeting. So I go in. It's going to be, a 30-minute quick meeting, which ends up being about 2 hours, me sitting there with Paul. And what really struck me as the most interesting client meeting I've ever had, an introduction, was I went in and I sat down and I got to meet Paul, and he starts talking about how he's very inspired by a lot of the work that I've done, and I wanted to go in and say I'm inspired by what you guys have done. And before I know it, we're both sitting there, and he's showing me pictures of the bears, and he's crying. And I just met this guy, And I was just overwhelmed by how much of a huge heart he had. And it just, what I thought was gonna be this very straight edge, we're gonna get right down to business, ended up being us both sitting there crying our eyes out as he's telling me about all of these bears and all of the great work they've been doing. And I left there with not just a new client, a new friend, and I'd never experienced that before. Ange was there, and I felt like nobody else really saw me. And what he mentioned when I came in was how he saw something I created about my own father and my relationship with canoes and gliding across a glassy lake, and how there's nothing better in the world than waking up early in the morning and getting into a canoe and gliding across a glassy lake. And over the past few years, as I've worked with Sean and Paul and Bill and been on all of these road trips with them and seen how big his heart is, we said to each other, I said one time, I remember, Paul, you gotta get in the canoe with me one time, and we gotta go gliding across that lake, and we never got to do that. And so I hope, Paul, now as we speak, I hope that you found your own lake and you found your own canoe, and you're right now gliding across that glassy lake as the sun rises on your face. I love you, man, and I miss you.
Thank you, Ben. Next, last speaker, I guess, is Darren Hahn.
Hello everyone, my name is Darren, and I had the privilege of working with Sean and Paul many years ago when they were just getting this Spirit Bear off the ground. You can almost say I was one of the originals. Those vehicles out there that have the Spirit Bear that goes on them, I used to drive around in the Jeep. So you'll hear the sayings when you go through life, gentle giant and not a bad bone in his body. That's truly Paul. Like, there was never a bad day at work with these guys. And I remember this one day, we're at the house and they got some new roasts in. So Paul's in the kitchen, he's whipping up these new roasts, whatever. And I'm being a rookie in the coffee game. I'm just drinking away. We were probably there for 2 hours. What these guys didn't tell me was they would drink and they'd spit. Right? So I left there just shaking. I probably didn't sleep for about 4 days. But anyway, it's just, it's an honor to be here. He will truly be missed, and appreciate you all coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. So I'm going to leave you just with a couple of things. That look what Paul did. Brought all of us people, different walks of life, settlers, First Nations, Indigenous peoples, and he did it because, as one of the speakers said, he saw you, and he reached into you and he pulled you out. But he did it in a way that was so respectful that you bought in 100%. And that was his style point. And I think that that is a lesson for all of us, to see others as they really are and to bring others into where we live. I'm going to end by a quote. For you youngins, you wouldn't know who this is, but a legendary figure, a former chief of the Tsleil-Waututh Nation, Chief Dan George. Some of you might remember that he was an actor, a poet, a leader for change, spokesperson for his people. He was also nominated for an Oscar award, co-starring with Dustin Hoffman in a movie back in the 1970s. Just an incredible man, and he's legendary for his words. And I'm going to end this before we go to break, something that he said. May the stars carry your sadness away. May the flowers fill your heart with beauty. May hope forever wipe away your tears. And above all, May silence make you strong. Paul, those words are for you from us. Dinner's ready. Oh, one more statement.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gina Jackson. I am the proud sister of Shane Jackson, who has this beautiful studio here. Jean Harry's going to come up and do a blessing before lunch. But I wanted to thank you all for coming here. I've known Paul for, oh, God, how old am I? 30, just kidding, 10 years, 20 years. Paul has made all of us better. You know, every time then when Spirit Bearer first started, it was about coffee, and then it was helping the bears, and then it was tracking the whales, and it was helping the environment, and it was what else? You know, it was always the business was always a platform for a business, but really for social investment and social justice, to help, just to help. And if you take a look around the room, you know, there's great people here. There's Chief Gibby Jacob, Jean Harry, Keith Henry, Paul Mittrell, Sean Harding, Tamara Goddard, Bill Helene, Adam Unnings. There's beautiful people here that have their businesses and have their life, but really are philanthropists in their own way, and really, really give their life and know their why, and their why is to help each other. And I don't think there's anyone. Sorry. Really inspired. Everybody, oh my God, I hate when I cry. I sound like an adolescent boy. Anyways, just wanted to thank you all so much, and know that, you know, we see you, and thanks to Paul and the likes of everyone else here that gives back to community and gives back to family and gives back to each other and supports each other here. So my hands go up to all of you, and I'll invite Gina to do a blessing for lunch. Thank you.